All right, good to see you right here on Your World on this Relationship Tuesday. And today our focus is on a relationship. No, it's actually on Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday, okay? And we usually talk about anything and everything, wellness and our health. I'm confusing it for Tuesday because we started this conversation last week on Tuesday, okay? And it was all about relationships and the cancer burden and, of course, the burden that it can cause on relationships. But the biggest question is how you heal together. But move that conversation to today on Wellness Wednesday because we want to understand what are the gaps when it comes to the cancer burden here in the country and what needs to be done. And guess who I have today? We have Felix and Linda, the lovely couple that we had last week on Tuesday, but they're here today on Wednesday. I need to stop confusing the two, the Tuesday and Wednesday. It's so good to see you today.
Good to see you.
Look at you all machi-machi. And I'm like, where? Aki, mapenzi wewe, like we said last week. But it's so good to see you.
We're saying not to know gaps.
Leo tumeclose. Did we close? We tried. No, but it's so good to see you. Thank you for making the time. Just in case what want to tune in for the first time and then they come across this lovely couple and they're like, where? Ebu tuambieni hao ni akina nani exactly? Can we start with you, Linda? Introduce yourself and tell them why we are here today.
My name is Linda Maura Nyomo. I'm a wife, a mother, a colleague, an auntie, many things, cousins, friend. Yes, and I'm a two-time cancer survivor.
Yeah. Yes. Reason why we are here today to say cancer, Cancer must bow.
Exactly.
It really must.
Yes.
Must bow. There's no argument about it. Must bow.
It must bow. All right, and Felix, please introduce yourself.
Of course, Felix Motiso, thank you so much for having us today.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. I'm a pastor, I'm a farmer, I'm a business person, and at the same time, I'm a serious warrior, making sure that cancer must bow.
Must bow.
Yes. Must bow.
It really must.
Exactly.
There's no ilikuwa ikaenda ikarudi. We're trying.
It must bow.
It must bow.
It has to bow.
I like that. And just in case you're wondering, hiya, okay, Kwani, what are you guys discussing? We're talking about, like we said, continuing with the conversation that we started last week. And this is as far as the burden of cancer, yes, and families and relationships and, you know, what should be done to really close some of these gaps. Because Linda, like you said, it took the seventh person to give you the correct diagnosis.
Yes.
And I can imagine the amount of time, you know, that it had taken for you to really understand what you were dealing with at that time and also, you know, begin the treatment process, which could be the same case for so many people. So today we're looking at the gaps and opportunities when it comes to adequate care for cancer. And the question that we're asking you today is very simple. What should be done to strengthen cancer treatment right here in the country? Once again, what should be done to strengthen cancer treatment right here in the country? It's very easy for you to get in touch with us, and that is on our socials. It's NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on X, and tag me as well at Lubembe_Winnie. But if you want to directly talk to us without social media, our WhatsApp number is also available at 0112 500 400. Get in touch with us and help us really to push this message in terms of what should be done to strengthen cancer treatment right here in the country. And again, just to bring you up to speed, that last week on Tuesday, the world marked World Cancer Day under a new theme, and that is united by unique places, people at the center of care and their stories at the heart of conversation. We'll be looking at the numbers as we continue with the conversation. But right about now, Linda, so we stopped at after the first diagnosis and treatment and surgery and the toll that it took on both of you, really.
Yes.
So Linda thought, you know what, we're okay. We're good. Tuko sawa, tunaendelea na maisha, right?
Yeah.
And then the second diagnosis came in and we left at that. Can we just start from, so you had headaches, that
I
did
had
not
headaches
go
that
away.
were not going away. I would take painkillers. It's not really working.
Yeah.
Later on, when I was going for admission, I felt a slight dizziness. So when we saw this one, it's like escalating the headache, we went now to the hospital.
All right.
So in the hospital, I thank God for my strict oncologist. She insisted on an MRI.
Okay.
So we did it very early in the morning, the next day, because now it was a Friday night, the next day, Saturday morning. By 6, she was there.
Okay.
She came and did her tests, and I was done the MRI. By 10 a.m. is when we got the second diagnosis that, Linda, it has come back, and now it's in the brain.
The brain. I can only imagine in the brain.
Yes.
I mean, no any other part of the body is that tutasema afadhali hapana, because really, nobody wants to even hear about cancer in itself. But here you're told it's come back. It's come back. It's in the brain. What is your initial reaction to that?
Like the first time I went numb, I was confused. Because even during this time, this break between this time you're thinking you're doing well from 2022 to 2024, it's not that I'm not doing tests.
No.
I'm still doing tests. So I'm being told I'm clean. We've done a PET scan. It's clean. I've done an MRI. It's clean.
Yeah.
My tumor markers are clean.
Yeah.
Then now you're being told you have a tumor in your brain and it looks cancerous and we need an urgent surgery.
Yeah.
That's Saturday, and they need to be operated on Monday morning.
On Monday morning.
Very early.
What does this do to you? Because again, like she said, all the tests came out clean. So, both of you, I want to imagine you're like, you know what, we beat this. Thank you, Jesus, heavens, for this. And then all of a sudden you're told, you know what, it's come back and it's in the brain.
From the first one, we had come a very good journey. So I felt we've constructed life again. We've done things again.
Yeah.
That 6th of September, I felt defeated. I felt deconstructed again. I felt worn out. I felt a lot again came to my mind asking, she's my wife. How do I again prepare to walk again a journey with her?
That journey. Yes.
What is it that you did not do? What is that maybe our doctor did not do? Because she's very innocent, the doctor. We've done everything. Again, the idea of how much this is going to cost us really hurt me so much, broke me so much.
Yeah.
I cried. As in, I've never cried in my life like that day. Between the 6th of September and the 9th of September, I felt so bad. And there's nothing bad like crying before your in-laws. My father-in-law was there and I was crying like a kid. And he looked at me and he's like, okay, this is how you love my daughter. But now the cry is not about like Valentine's, something different. So it just broke me so very much.
Yeah.
And also now the fear of, again, the fear of how cancer is in the brain.
Yes.
And brain is a no-go zone.
Yes.
So
and then you're told you need to go for surgery.
For surgery immediately. And actually they had said if they had the chance to do surgery that Saturday after the MRI,
they
should
could
leave the
have.
MRI straight to the surgery.
It was that urgent.
Wow.
So again, we do not even have time to think about it,
And
to ask again.
And ask the question.
So it was
Or do a
something
second
so
opinion.
unbelievable at the same time. But with the help of God, we took the news and we started forming our way forward. And at the end of the day, in 2 days we were in surgery. In 2 other days we were home. Now fighting back from home and caregiving and all that.
Yeah.
Did you, because again, so I can imagine, so not someone, a specialist, a doctor, and you know how much we trust doctors and healthcare, providers, and they say, so we need to actually do this urgently. We need to go for surgery. Do you try to sort of ask, are there other options? It's the brain. You know?
Yes.
Like,
we
it's the brain.
had serious. It's not that she just told us. We had what do we call
It's
it?
a board meeting.
It's like a board meeting. We had the neurosurgeon. We had my oncologist. We had the key people there in that meeting, and we asked all the tough questions that you can ask, including, is there life after? What is the quality of life after?
Yes.
We asked, people they fear asking questions. You need to ask and understand, what is this that you're going through? What kind of surgery how are they performing that surgery?
Yes.
All that was explained, including saying that they're going to use microscopic things. Everything was explained to clarity. If I didn't understand, I had to ask.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see that. And that kind of support.
I think before I forget it, I think it's at this point where we need to encourage every cancer patient. Don't fear talking and asking even the greatest and the baddest question.
Yes.
Because as we ask the doctor, is there a way we can forgo the surgery and still deal with it?
Yeah.
And thank God, because I think the field is becoming better. They took us through various ways and the best and the finest. And we came to an agreement, okay, if the surgery is the best and the finest, let's do it.
Let's do
but
it.
Still the fear of the mark, fear of going to an 8-hour theater and all that still was something big. But let me encourage all of us, we need to keep on talking to these people.
Yes.
And if there's a reason that can encourage you to talk to them, you've paid for it.
You've paid for it. Ask those questions.
Ask
it doesn't
them.
matter how.
Ask.
Because majority of the times, there's that shock, first of all, that this is what you're dealing with. These are the treatment options that are available on the table. So sometimes even that room to ask those questions, sometimes it's not even there, because you're trying to process the information that has been given. And then
Create
also
that time.
Create the time.
Create that time to ask those questions.
I see.
Don't rush into it and you've not asked the critical things that you need to know. Even the small questions, don't think like they're small. I even asked about how will the scar look like.
Yeah.
How will I look? How are you going to cut me? Is it a small circle? Is it a line?
Yeah.
Are you going to shave the hair? Do we need to maintain it?
Yes.
You know, it looks small, but it's not really small.
It's important.
Exactly.
It's really important, because when you wake up and you find you don't have hair, it affects even how you feel, how you're going to heal when you come back.
Yeah. I see that. So now, compared to the first time, in terms of you had to do chemo, right? Then you had to do radio, and then still the surgery, right? So was it the same the second time, or were there some bit of
there was
changes when it comes
a bit
to
of changes
approaching treatment? Yes.
Yeah, to approach the treatment, because at first they wanted the surgery out because it started affecting that Sunday. My legs started dragging. It was going numb.
Yeah.
So they said, no, we need to do surgery first. Then we were to do chemo, but they saw the way I reacted to radiology. We did surgery, then radiotherapy.
Okay.
Radiotherapy, the whole brain.
All right.
So they saw the way I reacted. We put on chemo. Now I'm on hormonal.
All right.
Yes.
Wow.
Because I was actually on the receiving end on the plan of medication.
Yeah.
And thank God for oncology. She really has a very broad base board that discussed a lot about Linda's. So they were more worried about why did it reoccur. So majorly they wanted to deal with the reasons for the occurrence. And so there's the hormone that they have to deal with. So they chose not to go the chemo this time, to first deal with the hormone, hormonal balancing and all that, so that if there's another that recurrence, that's when now they can deal with chemo apart from that. Meaning that there are different ways of medication as per the situation appears, or even as the situation comes.
I see that. And again, so went through surgery. So what started? Was it the surgery or surgery, right?
Surgery started.
And then radiotherapy, and then
hormonal.
And then now hormonal. Yes. So how long ago? Because I know the surgery happened last year.
Happened September.
Yes.
Last year.
September last year.
Yes.
Okay. So September last year, went through the treatment
surgery. Then October I went through radiotherapy.
Yeah.
Then now we started the hormonal. Yes, immediately after. Yes.
So how are you feeling at this point? How is your body responding to all this? And then Felix, I'll come to ask you how you are also doing.
I want you to note the hormonotherapy is long life.
Yes.
It's a long life.
It's a long life. Yeah, it's a long life treatment. But where you think the first one was kinda easier, but wow.
No.
This one got tougher.
Yeah.
It got tougher. As much as I didn't have the chemo, after the surgery, when you wake up, they also need to see, are you able to write? Are you able to feed yourself? Are you swallowing? Are you breathing on your own?
Because it's the brain, the engine of
yes.
Literally.
So you really have to, they really took care of me when I was in hospital. They were making sure, are my critical things really functioning well? Am I able to walk myself to the washroom? I had a high risk fall, so if I was going to the washroom, I needed to call someone to take me
to support you,
or I have the potty there. If I'm to walk, I need to see, am I able to lift? Are there the neurals? How are they? They were at first painful.
Okay.
Coming back to now a normal, like now there I am right now. It took work.
Yes.
At times I'll choke when I'm eating or when I'm breathing. I'll choke, serious choking. So it's a process. The surgery, that one was a process.
Yeah.
Radio, on the other hand, was a different thing. The nausea, the fatigue, my hair falling off, it fell off later. During surgery, it wasn't cut. The only cut where the scar was. That one was a harsh one. That one was a harsh one. Yes.
I can only imagine. And for you, Felix, again, so throughout this process, because again, you know how they usually say you need to be strong for her. You know, you are her strongest support system at this point. She should not even see you cry, because if you break down, you know. But forgetting that also you, as the caregiver now at this point, and being very vital in terms of like decision making when it comes to the what is it called, treatment and the cost of treatment, to be taken and all those things. It also takes an emotional toll of you to see your loved one going through all this, right? So how were you at this point, emotionally, spiritually, everything else that can be what makes you?
I think this is a time I say kudos to every caregiver that is doing a good work. Trust me, being a caregiver, it's actually you living somebody else's life. You are actually walking another life. So emotionally, number one, I was off. Have you ever cried until you can't cry, but you're still crying?
You're still crying.
You work out every part of your emotions and nothing is adding up. So there's that time I felt knocked off by life, knocked off. All my emotions are totally then. I sometimes find myself getting angry for nothing. And the idea of looking at Linda and doing everything she wants and I'm not doing what I want for my life at the same time hurts too much, because I can't do business anymore. I can't be in my normal programs of life. I have to be in a normal program of life. In fact, even today, my life is 3 hours old. I only live for like 3 hours. Because I have to take care of her up to 9 a.m. I release her for up to around 2 p.m. I pick her and I'm with her, making sure she's everywhere. My finances went off.
I can imagine.
Man, I got broke, and I have friends that are caregivers that tell me, do you have anything? Send to me. I want to buy something for my family. I lost friends because of her.
You lost more friends.
More, as in many friends. In fact, some who call me bro, they are no longer part of my life. And it hurt so much. I keep on looking at my sons asking me, Daddy, is mommy okay still? And sometimes she's not okay, and I have to tell them, she's not okay, but she'll be okay. And they get worried, they get concerned, and they start watching cartoons that will sing songs for Christ, that Linda will be well. So trust me, it's not an easy journey for me. It's not an easy journey for every other caregiver. Pains a lot, takes a lot, costs a lot. And I pray that the world can appreciate all caregivers.
Absolutely.
It's a whole total department on its own.
I mean, it's true. And today we're here to say and give cancer a different face. That listen, it's possible to go through this process. If it's not easy, you would not wish it on anyone. But you're here today, strong. Like, look at you, Linda. Strong, beautiful, and preaching the gospel of cancer must bow. So, what are some of these lessons? Because I know we need to go on a break, and then we have a different panel after the break. But what are the lessons that you've learned going through this process? Maybe the gaps, maybe the opportunities that are there when it comes to cancer treatment in the country, because true, we've made strides when it comes to cancer treatment, right? But there's so much that needs to be done. So Linda, from your perspective, going through this and experiencing everything that you've experienced, right? What is it that you have learned along the way that you feel, you know what, this needs to change as soon as now?
Okay. I'll answer in a personal way, then I'll allow him to speak.
All right.
My personal way, the thing that I've learned, especially with this second round, you need to deal with that fear.
Okay.
That one also, it's a limit for you to heal. And also for me, the thing I speak to myself is have the fear of God in you. Okay. So the other fears that come, you don't need to look at them.
Okay.
So that you concentrate on your healing and looking at the cancer and all. Because when you mix fear with cancer, you won't go far. You won't go far. But there are many other limits.
When it comes to that part, I speak more. One, the lessons I've learned is that regardless of what religion you come from, go back to your maker.
Yes.
That is the best solace you can ever find. Number 2, the lesson of adhering to medication. It's so important. Doesn't matter how much mitishamba is being presented, doesn't matter how many people are telling you what, please stick to your doctor.
Yes.
It is the best decision you can ever make. Adhere to medication. Number 3, find yourself a support system as a cancer patient. Don't assume that there's a caregiver. Don't assume anything. Find yourself a support system. Look for your own way to support yourself before you experience support from your doctor, from your caregiver.
Yes.
Number 4, do not fear calling for support. I struggled with it at the beginning. Call for support. Cancer is expensive to treat. Cancer is serious. We call it a beast in our fellowship. So call for help. Listen, call for prayer help. Call for financial help. Call for any help you think you need. Just say it. It's better receiving help alive than burying you and people are left holding the help they would have given you when you were alive. Number 4, the idea of, let me put it this way, helping yourself. Push yourself to fight cancer. Don't allow any other person to fight cancer for you. Linda got to a place and we said we want to withdraw our support that she can give herself her own support. So we'll tell her, Linda, you have to fight. As when she's going in for scans, when she's going in for chemo, she was all alone. We may be there, but we kept telling her, I think you have to play your part now. Many cancer patients have chosen to say, you know what, I'm dying, this thing is bad, so they're not fighting. One of our doctors tells us he's seen the difference between a courageous cancer patient and every time courage and boldness is involved, they fight so great. The last one is the best way we can approach cancer is to request the leadership of the nation to declare cancer a pandemic. If cancer is declared a pandemic, trust me, it's going to be a lesson learned and it's going to be approached in a better way.
And Linda, then as we bring this to a close, like this part, because we still have to discuss in the next part after the break. So what needs to change as soon as now? Because again, like both of you have said, it takes an emotional toll. It takes finances, you know, as well. And especially when it comes to financing, right? What is it that you'd want to change as soon as now? And I really, really hope that the policy makers and decision makers are watching this morning.
Policy makers, we need, especially the SHA, it needs to come in big hand. The approvals of things, the test of the medicine, it really needs to be quickened and to be really up. Like during time of NHIF, it was easier, but we needed more finances because it's more expensive right now.
You need some help? Yes. All right.
Don't worry.
It is okay. It is absolutely okay.
The approach to cancer needs to actually take a whole lot of change. To this morning, trust me, they say in every group of 10 ladies, one has breast cancer. But the question is, what are we doing as a government, as a nation, as citizens of this lovely nation? What are we doing to make sure that all of us get to the place of screening? Get to the place of being aware of our cancer status. At the same time, the resources around cancer treatment, honestly, to be revised. To be revised in a bigger way. Because cancer is not selective. It's not something you go picking. It's something that you are not aware about. And it's everywhere. Right now, the numbers are alarming. So if we can change most of the policies around cancer, have many gatherings and table sittings around cancer, discussing around how to eradicate cancer and fight cancer, will be a blessing. At the same time, making availability nationwide of cancer facilities. Because you realize that people that have to leave Mombasa to come to Nairobi for few things, people have to leave Migori to come to Nairobi for things. We need to have these things that are in Nairobi, either distributed there or else the county level, at the county levels, have a lot easily access cancer facilities. It's going to be a big blessing. We have a fellowship that we actually call it Cancer Mazbao, and it's actually touching across Kenya and other nations. We have people that come from other nations to Kenya, and I'm like, why don't we have for treatment? Why don't we have these things in their nation? We have people that have to leave all the way from Migori to come to Nairobi.
Yeah, or others actually leave the country, go to India.
Other people live, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So we need to have a serious discussion around as to how we can make it more accessible and more available.
And more affordable.
And affordable.
Right?
Yes. And affordable. Also, in the policies, we also need the insurance companies to come in and also give cancer patients a good package. Because at times, if I pay an external insurance to health insurance, with the next year when I go to pay for my premiums, I may not have an opportunity to pay for that because I have cancer.
Yeah.
So I am put away, or you pay the full amount for it to be, for me to be covered. So the policy making around the insurances also needs to be checked.
Did you know that if you have cancer, you don't qualify to get an insurance cover in Kenya?
You don't.
That needs to be changed, and something to ponder on even as we go on a break. And then when we come back, now we'll focus on on that point, what needs to be done to strengthen. But for now, Felix and Linda, thank you so much. We started this conversation with you last week, and here we are today, giving a different face to cancer, really, because you're here, you beat cancer. Yes, you're continuing with the hormonal treatment, and we wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
In that journey as well. Thank you for coming also and sharing your story with us, because like we said, cancer
must bow.
We really must bow. Okay, so we'll see you after the short break. There's so much to discuss on the other side of the break, and also go through some of these numbers and also interrogate the numbers and get to see where are we as a country and where do we need to be. And just a reminder that we're coming to you from Karibu Inn. Beautiful ambience, lovely gardens, and also beautiful space to host any event. Valentine's is coming. Okay, I'll see you after the short break. To stay with us.
For every challenge, be as strong as this. In every collision, discover the world as it is and uncover a strength that's yours. Redmi Note 14 Series, All-Star Durability.
This Valentine's season, you and your loved ones deserve to cherish every moment and celebrate the love and connection you have grown since the day you laid eyes on each other. Join us for the Valentine's Expo 2025, a vibrant, love-filled space where brands and love unite. Also, this is your grand chance to be a part of history as we host a Guinness World Record attempt for the most hugs in 24 hours. Don't miss the Valentine's Expo 2025. For more details, please reach out to the following.
Over a marathon 38-game season, sustaining a high level of performance is easier said than done. In Barcelona's case, they began their La Liga campaign in scintillating fashion, flying out of the blocks with an impressive run of wins. But a mid-season form slump has derailed the early runaway leaders, who now find themselves playing catch-up.
Shield your families from germs. When Dettol is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
Tired of endless scrolling? Say goodbye to the chaos. Introducing the all-new Business Daily website. Experience seamless navigation. Immerse yourself in a world of more videos and more podcasts. Discover more with our enhanced home pages. Engage like never before with our interactive tools. Join us and elevate your reading experience today. Business Daily. More possibilities.
Hey there. Life's a journey, isn't it? Full of twists and turns and a lot of questions about relationships. It's about healing, about finding purpose. But what if I told you that there's a place where we can unpack it all together?
It is said that if you do not uncover your traumas, your relationships will. But what if you're willing, but you don't know how? That's where I come in.
Join us on the Elevate Show, where stories are shared, struggles understood, and solutions come to life. Benjamin and I are here to walk this path with you through the tough times and the breakthroughs.
We're talking about trauma, relationships, and purpose.
This is not just a talk show. It is a safe space, a place to connect, reflect, and elevate.
Reach your audience instantly and make a lasting impression with Nation Sema. Affordable bulk SMS at 0.3 Kenya shillings. Own sender ID for 10,000 Kenya shillings plus 10,000 free messages. To sign up, please call 0728434979 or email us on mkibunja@ke.nationmedia.com.
Hustle is survival.
When a loved one's lost.
Catch these exciting shows only on Maisha Magic Plus on DSTV channel 163 and GoTV channel 3.
All right, welcome back to the show. The show is Your World, and today is Wellness Wednesday, and we are finishing a conversation that we started last week on Tuesday, and this is on the cancer burden and its impact when it comes to family, when it comes to relationships, and how you heal together throughout the journey. So today we'll take a special focus on then the cancer burden right here in the country, and we're looking at the gaps and opportunities to really improve and strengthen cancer care right here in the country. And the question is very simple, right? We're asking you, what should be done to strengthen cancer treatment right here in the country? Once again, what should be done to strengthen cancer treatment or cancer care in the country? And engage with us on our socials, and that is at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on X, and tag me as well at Lubembe_Winnie, and also use our WhatsApp number 0112-500-400 and tell us what you feel needs to be done as soon as now to strengthen cancer care right here in the country. Just to remind you that we are coming to you from Karibu in a beautiful, beautiful ambience. As you can see, I'm pretty sure at some point you saw some ducks there, swimming across this lovely pond. They have beautiful gardens as well and luxurious rooms. And like I said, if you're looking for a place to take your loved one, especially Valentine's is coming this Friday, a few days, and you're wondering where to take your loved one, Karibu Inn is where you need to probably look into. All right, Matt, right about now, my guests, we have Florence Wandabwa Ambayo, who is right next to me. She is a clinical psychologist, a coach, and a training consultant. Good to see you and to have you this morning.
Thank you so much.
And we also have Mildred Odhiambo, who is a nurse and a family therapist. Good to see you. How are you doing this morning?
I'm well, thank you.
Karibu sana. And we also have Joanne Wangari, who's a pancreatic cancer survivor, an advocate, and mental health coach. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you so much, to all of you for coming by. I'm going to start with you, Florence. So, like we said, cancer in itself, just even the word itself, we do not even want to hear. We do not even want to talk about it. Some people will say, don't even mention that name. There's so much fear when it comes to cancer. So from where you see it, how are we doing as a country, and especially when it comes to raising awareness as far as cancer, and also how we as a people are responding to this thing?
Yeah, from where I sit as a clinical psychologist, there is a lot of stigma, like you've just said, about cancer.
Yeah.
People are in denial. They are still thinking it is demonic, it is a spiritual thing, but it's a reality, it's a disease. And so they are not coming out to get psychological support. or possibly they are not even aware that there is psychological support that is there, and there could also not be psychological support where they are, you know. And so because the family has disintegrated a little bit right now in Kenya, we are not as close as we used to be, the aunties, the uncles, and everybody, you know, so we are getting a little more lonely. And so people are on their own. You know, families are just the small, you know, nuclear family, and so they are not getting the support that they need. And we are saying, really, cancer is not just a physical burden. It is more emotional and psychological. And so it needs to be handled that way. There is need for psychological support for cancer patients and their families.
True.
You know, their families are even going through more than even the patients themselves are going.
Yeah, and we've seen that even, you know, with Felix, what he was saying. You know, sometimes people say, you know, you're a man, be strong from, you know, and we impose this expectations, forgetting that they're human at the end of the day. They also need that support. It's okay for them to express the how they feel, because they're also impacted one way or the other. So that support, like you're saying, is very important. So we'll come back to you to then understand. So then what does this right support look like? Because for a lot of people would say, see, I can just give them a call like once in a while. Sometimes people don't even know what to say, right? So what exactly does that right support look like, so that we are all aware, right? And we can, you know, chime in one way or the other. Might not be financial, but also could be emotional, right? We'll talk about it. But you also have personal story, and you're also very vocal, strong about all this. We'll come back video to you to understand that. Mildred as well. So, nurse and a family therapist. What is it that you've noticed along, you know, the way in your years of practice, as far as the approach to cancer, either from a family setup or community, maybe national, county, the government? What is our approach? What is it that we're doing right, and what is it that we're doing wrong when it comes to our approach to cancer?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I would say that it's unfortunate and sad, because other than families moving closer to a smaller and becoming nuclear, even when people have siblings, they are not having the support that they need. I think one of the things is that we've also not understood the magnitude of the sickness, magnitude in terms of what the patient is going through and what kind of help that they need. Because you find that somebody has been diagnosed by cancer, and as Florence was saying, the family is still thinking, umerogwa, there's something is wrong with you. So they take time before they even consider that you'd need help. And then that takes time before a decision can be made on what kind of treatment or where. And the decision is huge. Making the decision that I need to have my breast removed, or as Linda was saying, you need to have this surgery, and you're confused, you're not able to ask questions. So you really need family. You need people to support you. And many times you're left to make these very difficult decisions on your own, where parents, sometimes you could be my age, but your parents are alive, and probably they would support in making decisions. But they say you are an adult, probably you have a spouse, and then the person is left hanging. And because of the trauma that you go through, trauma starts when you are being diagnosed. You have to go for so many tests. You are inside an MRI alone. You are inside this, and you find people walking to those spaces alone. I think because people are used to saying that I'm an adult, I can take myself to hospital. As long as I don't need to be driven, I can take myself to hospital. But that's not the case. This person doesn't need to be driven, but they need somebody talking to them, saying a story outside their treatment. Somebody just journeying with them and holding their hand, even as they go for these investigations, even to make the decision that where do we go or which doctor do we see, even just listening over results. Just that kind of support, which is not very forthcoming. There are a number of people we journey with, and you realize that somebody has 5 siblings, but they're alone. And the unfortunate thing is that you find a situation where somebody is paying a neighbor to take them to hospital, and they are from the sister's house. Because the sister is saying, you are from the village, I will give you space because you're coming for treatment in Nairobi, but I don't have time to take you to hospital to go and run tests. So she's paying a neighbor to walk with her to hospital. She'll pay the fare, even as she goes with the neighbor, and that's because she has that money, and she's not paying it because she can afford. She's paying it because she doesn't have a choice. She needs somebody to go with them, and sometimes even it's not about being driven. You can even be walking because there's no fare, but the fact that you're walking with somebody just makes a difference. So siblings and embracing each other, even friends. Your colleague is not at work, they have cancer. We could even be 10 friends. If even one of us supported them in the week, we do a round of 10 days or 10 weeks, and she would have gotten the support that she needs. And so just thinking about people need each other to hold each other's hands. Unfortunately, the problem sometimes comes from patients. So I don't want anyone to know.
All right.
There are people going through cancer, even their children do not know, and they're in the same house.
Yeah. Is it because of stigma, or is it because you're trying to, first of all, process that, right? As you ponder on that, let's speak to Joanne. So, Joanne, you have a personal story, pancreatic cancer. So can we just talk about the diagnosis? When did you get your diagnosis, and how, your journey was? I know we have very few minutes to go, but yes, let's try to hear a bit of your story.
Thank you. My name is Joanne Wangari. I'm a pancreatic cancer survivor. I was diagnosed in 2011, underwent surgery and chemotherapy. So it was not easy for me to deal with the processes because I was still young. I was in my 20s. So it was hard for me to deal with knowing that I will be coping with something that is so hard. But eventually I came to realize it's just a set of mind, because at first the diagnosis was hard because I was misdiagnosed, went to different hospitals, and eventually that's when they realized that I had pancreatic cancer. I had to move even from where I was living. I was living in Mombasa, and I came to Nairobi to seek treatment, because by then there were no proper treatment in Mombasa. So it was a bit of challenge because I had to move places, I had to change even jobs, and to come here and start again treatment, which was costly. Because pancreatic cancer is one of the hardest type of cancer to treat also, and also to diagnose. So I'm lucky, and I thank God for that, because it was diagnosed early and I was able to go through the processes, and now I'm well. Even in 2015 I gave birth after cancer, to a beautiful baby girl who is now in grade 4.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. And again, like I said, we really like the fact that today we're here to give cancer a different face. That yes, it's difficult. It's news that we dread, everybody dreads. But hey, listen, there's also this other side that you can actually beat cancer, because like Felix and Linda said, cancer must bow.
It must bow.
and listening to what both Mildred and Joanne said, that number one, access first of all to treatment, and also that support, from family members is a little bit difficult, right? Can we also interrogate the data? Because yes, we have data, but the data is also not adequate to inform, decisions when it comes to treatment and all those things. And like I said, you're very big on championing for better care for cancer, but you also have a personal story. So you want to speak a little bit about your personal story, and then, focus on the data and what we need to do to at least make sure that we have the correct data that will help inform the course of care.
Thank you. Yes, I am a breast cancer survivor also. Very recent diagnosis, really, not too long ago, 2023.
All right.
So I went through the treatment, very harsh treatment, very costly treatment, extremely costly. It leaves you without a cent. Thank God for insurance companies that are supporting. Thank God. Then NHIF, I still speak about it. I say the then NHIF was amazing in supporting us. And supporting many other people. And now SHA, SHIF, the systems, I think, haven't fallen in place very well. But if they do, I still would like to say, please have a good package for cancer patients, because there are going to be many, I can tell you. Because now I think we are getting more aware, and then we are getting out, and we are doing a lot of advocacy. So we are speaking out, and people are coming out. you know, with families, and they're coming for treatment. So statistics, I think this is where we have not gotten there. A lot of statistics research needs to be done, and also data mined from the hospitals, right from the clinics, you know, at the grassroots level.
Yes.
Is a woman coming with a breast problem? Do we have those statistics? Are they going back up to the cancer, you know, the National Cancer Center? You know, are we getting that statistics? If we have those systems in place, then we're going to get the statistics well. And I think Kenya is really trying.
Yeah.
We are really trying to get as many people. At some point, Kenyatta National Hospital had a breast desk where any woman that comes with breast issues, not necessarily cancer, they would pass through that desk, and that statistic would be captured. I don't know what is happening right now, but we are really saying that wherever you are as a medical officer, in the smallest clinic, at that county level, please capture this statistics.
Data, yes.
Because this data, if we have the data, then it is going to inform policy. Yeah. And that is how we are going to influence policy. But without data, it is difficult. Even as Pastor said, that the country, they need to announce that cancer is a pandemic. If they announce cancer is a pandemic, statistics must show. Data must support that. And really, it is just a matter of capturing this data. Other than that, we can see, just from the small meetings we have at Cancer Must Bow, that we have many families affected. Almost, I say, almost every family in Kenya right now knows somebody that has cancer. Just the way I say in my circles, almost every family in Kenya here now knows somebody that is on drugs or is an alcohol abuser. Yeah. So it is almost the same for cancer. Yeah, so we must do something.
We need, And Mildred, again, a nurse, from a healthcare perspective, right? Because again, you are in hospitals, you see these things happen. What is it that we're lacking when it comes to our healthcare system and the providence of the same? Because again, like Joan said, travel all the way from Mombasa to Nairobi to come and access care in itself. So what needs to be done? Because people, even mashinani, kwetu West Pokot, you know, there's some who have to come all the way to Nairobi, and it's expensive, you know, in itself.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we can do even from the smallest facility is to be intentional. Because what happens even in Nairobi and Nairobi environs is that the few oncologists who are there actually travel out of Nairobi. So, for example, if somebody was to start a clinic for cancer patients and they realize that they have statistics, they connect the patients with the doctors for treatment, because if you have the right, for example, the right surgeon to do the surgery, then the surgery can be done in the nearest, lowest facility.
Yes.
And if it's coming for chemotherapy, instead of people traveling far, then you'd get the numbers come together into one center and organize for the doctors to come. Clinics run every 3 weeks. So you can have 2 or 3 doctors. And other than the oncologists, they are clinic officer oncologists. They are nurse oncologists. So if you have a nurse oncologist, you have a clinic officer oncologist, and then you have the physician oncologist who can come once in a while and give direction. And we have telemedicine. So the clinic officer, if it's in a very low facility, can see the patient, liaise with the physician oncologist, and be able to offer the services. But I think because the patients look at the facility and say, this facility cannot offer us the care, so let me look for another facility. But if us as health workers decided there must be people in this community who need care, how can I bring the services closer to them? It's easier to bring one doctor to a long distance to Mashinani than all these patients scattering on their own. Sometimes they don't even have the transport to get to the place. They will not have accommodation when they go there. And if you look at radiotherapy, patients sleep on benches at KNH. because there's nowhere to go. You know, radiotherapy is Monday to Friday.
Yes.
So if you are from up country, you have nowhere to stay, then you'll be sleeping on the corridors waiting for tomorrow. So if we were able to do something, move it closer, then it would be able to support the patients.
The patients. Yeah, I mean, that reminded me of a case of again, someone I was talking to, and they had breast cancer. And they said they had to wait because there's a long list, even before just getting the diagnosis. And by the time they got the actual diagnosis, the cancer had already spread to other parts of the body. And unfortunately, it was diagnosed late, just because of that long list of having to wait for over a year just to get the diagnosis. So I really hear what you're saying when you say we need to get systems that are working so that, again, we don't have patients sleeping on benches, really, right? And Joanne, so what are some of these opportunities that are available? Because like you said, pancreatic cancer is not something that is talked about, as often as you compare to, say, breast cancer or prostate cancer. So what are some of the opportunities that are available to really pass as much awareness? In as much as people know about breast cancer, people also need to know about this other, types of cancers and the treatment, and say it is possible to actually go through this and come out, on the other side.
Okay, the opportunities that we have as we are cancer survivors. Sometimes we are not given that opportunity also to be on the table, maybe with the doctors, because we do so much in the communities. We create awareness. People trust in us because we have gone through the journey. Whenever I go to tell people about cancer, they relate. They know that this person has passed through that cancer, so they relate, and they are so much want to know they want to get the knowledge. Even cancer survivors themselves and patients calls us. Sometimes they ask us for our own opinion, because we have passed through the system, we have passed through the cancer treatment. So the opportunities that are there is for us cancer survivors to be empowered so that we can help in this fight against cancer. Like, we need patient navigation. Cancer survivors can do that, because we have gone through, like Kenyatta, to access treatment in Kenyatta sometimes it's hard for people who have not been there. Like, as for me, I spent there 3 years in Kenyatta, because I used to for the treatment, I used to sleep there for treatment, then go back, so I know the system. So one of the things that even the government needs to put on the table is bringing on board the cancer survivors that we have passed through that journey, so that we can help in the fight against cancer, because there are a lot of gaps, like in the supportive care, in psychosocial support. We are now starting our support groups. When we invite cancer patients and survivors, they come in because they can relate. They want to know,
to hear from you and having gone through it. I'm sorry, Joanne, unfortunately we have to go because there's there's another live event happening now. But I'm happy that all of you really made the time to analyze where we are as a country, the gaps and the opportunities as well that are available. So we say thank you to each and every one of you for coming today and also sharing both of your stories as well. And thank you for staying with us until the end of the show. Unfortunately, today we only have 1 hour because there's another live event coming up. But look forward to our very own Mwikali's show, which will be debuting later on today at 7:30 p.m. It's called The Elevate Show. Do not miss it and see your very own Mwikali doing her thing. All right. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow morning or on Friday on Valentine's, because we have a special episode for you on Valentine's Day. And a special thanks to Karibu Inn for hosting us today. My name is Winnie Lubembe. God bless and have yourselves a lovely day ahead.